Are you guys enjoying your time at the beach?
Yes.
Okay. I know we don't want to shatter any sound barriers, but can all the bottoms please make some noise? All the bottoms make some noise. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. You think it's okay to just lie there while somebody else does everything? This is capitalism, baby. We all have to work. Okay, enough self-hatred for one night. But have any of you guys ever been in the middle of fucking, and you're really feeling yourself, the top is just really like hammering away. You can feel all the stressors lifting off of you. And then they pull out to show you something that they found inside of you, expecting you to tell them what it is. Like, bitch, just because that was inside of me does not mean that I know what that is. That could be any number of things. That could have been yesterday's lunch. That could have been the dried up cum from that guy I met on the A-train platform, the Westport Street subway station. That might be my social security card, girl. Like, I've been looking for that. I didn't know where it went. Don't hold that like this with so much disgust between your acrylic nails. And why is it always the women that do this? Like, a man would never stop fucking just to find out what kind of beans I've been eating. Lentils. Obviously. You can switch the sides actually. No, not the way, yeah. You're doing such a great job, Mika, thank you. Anyway, my mom came to one of my comedy shows recently. Yeah, you would think it would be cute. She was actually really upset afterwards. She was like, she called me up, she was like, Aviva, people always ask me if I'm offended by the lewd sexual content and flagrant anti-Semitism in your comedy material. They always ask if it bothers me that whenever you talk about me, you put on this ridiculous Jewish accent that I don't have. And I always tell them, no, I'm just devastated that I raised a child who would make me sit through 15 minutes of her telling the same jokes that she has been telling for a year. Yeah, but I'm really good at making my mom upset because, I'm a Hebrew teacher. I told her about that. I was like, I'm a professional Hebrew teacher. And she's like, no, you're not. Like, you need to speak Hebrew to be a professional Hebrew Hebrew teacher. And I was like, no, I speak Hebrew. And she's like, you are not a professional Hebrew teacher.
Oh.
You are nothing but a professional shakronit. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, it means liar in Hebrew. But you didn't know that, now did you? And I was like, oh, I always translated that word as entrepreneur. I have been on Duolingo recently. When I put out that ad that says I'm looking for Hebrew students, that doesn't leave this room. That's not getting posted anyway. I have been going on Duolingo recently, to brush up. But it's a lot of pressure, you guys. I already have my parents breathing down my neck, telling me to practice. Now I have an animated owl who's gonna say the same thing. And it's relentless. Have you guys been on Duolingo? It's relentless. It's every day that owl is like, Aviva, it's almost 11 p.m. You need to practice. Aviva, it's been 3 days. Why haven't you practiced? And then it's like, Aviva, your ancestors were persecuted for 2,000 years. 6 million people died in the gas chambers, and you can't even take 15 minutes to review the heat Powell conjugation. And I emailed the Duolingo support team about that one. I was like, I'm a busy woman, right? After I've had a long day, I can't always practice, and it doesn't help to have an animated owl bringing up my intergenerational trauma. And the response, that owl was I spent 2 years in Bergen-Belsen. It's Auschwitz's less famous cousin, working in the tin shop, all my relatives went up and smoked. So I think I know a little something about a long day. And I think you can take 10 minutes to review the heat Powell conjugation. Anyway, I've stopped I'm stopped with Duolingo recently after that. I'm a Hebrew school teacher though, actually, which is like really great because all that is just like you cut out like a menorah of construction paper. It's a small crowd. I've done this joke a lot. But anyway, I'm gonna do it again. So you guys can enjoy it one more time. This joke went viral on TikTok, fun fact, and it got me my first comedy show in Greenfield, Massachusetts. But anyway, I work at a Hebrew school, and it's really great because I can get all my friends' jobs there, right? But recently, my boss came up to me, and she's like, Aviva, like, you're sending me a lot of transgender women with no teaching experience to work here. Like, why should I hire these people? And I was like, well, Katie Ryan of Brooklyn Heights Synagogue, it's because teaching Hebrew school is a really big cultural value in the trans community. So we're all just really good at it. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, there's like a lot of systemic discrimination that we face. So like in our community, there's really only like 4 jobs that trans girls have, right? Like, we have our coders, we have our DJs, we have our prostitutes, and we have our Hebrew school teachers. And, she took a second to like take this in, and then she was like, oh, that's why you all look like that. Not everyone at that school is like on board with the trans agenda. Like I had this one student, he raised his hand, 8 years old, he raised his hand in class. He's like, Miss Aviva, like, do you support the transgenders? And I was like, yeah, like I do. And he's like, but like, do you think they should have rights? And I was like, yeah, probably they should. And he's like, okay, but like, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, right? And I didn't let that kid use the bathroom for the rest of the year. I pulled out my Uno reverse card. He was like, why can't I use the bathroom? I was like, I don't know, Eliezer, like we just can't trust you in there. It made me understand more like why they don't want trans people around kids, because we just can be a little spiteful. Like, I was working at preschool the other day, some kid was like, you're a boy, and I tripped that kid. And that's a true story. What else was I gonna talk about today? Oh, I'm Jewish. I talk about that a lot. So it can take me a really long time to douche, which is unfortunate, But it's okay, like, I take the good with the bad, like, not gonna throw the baby out with the bath water, so to speak. It can take me like 2 hours sometimes, you guys, but it's okay. After the first hour, douching becomes like a really spiritual experience. Like, I have seen the 10 Commandments, I have seen the burning bush, like it's all come down out of there. Oh, do you guys remember that earthquake the other week?
Yeah.
It was a month ago, a few months ago. That was me. There's earthquakes everywhere. Anyway, that was me. They were all me. Every time there's an earthquake. Every time there's an earthquake is because I had beans. And that isn't always so good for the tri-state area. But believe me and 8 inches looking for TS, we had the time of our lives. Just because you don't always feel the earthquakes doesn't mean that they don't happen. So maybe you should check the weather report next time instead of heckling me about it. Okay. So, because of this whole douching debacle, I talk a lot about how I want to like lock cis women up in basements and like steal their vaginas, right? That's my visual. That's what a vagina looks like. You can keep going. Okay. Anyway, I was like at this open mic one time, and I was talking about that, and then this cisgender woman drag queen. Afterwards, you can search the slide also. That's her. Her name is Lori Lou. I just want to do a call out. Anyway, you can keep that up there for a second. So there's this woman drag queen, right? So that's a woman dressed up like a man, dressed up like a woman. So she's a woman dressed up like a woman, basically. And in case there was any confusion about that, she clarified during her set. She was like, "I'm a vagina haver," which she did not need to say because, girl, we could smell that shit. Anyway, she came up to me after my set, and she's like, you know, you were talking about how you want a pussy, but you don't want a pussy. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I feel like I do. And she's like, oh, well, you know, I would give you mine, but I just don't think that you could handle it. And I was like, bitch, like, I don't want yours. If you're like trying to give that away, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, then this bitch has the audacity. She's like, you just don't know. You don't understand the kind of work and maintenance it requires to maintain this sacred passageway that has been bestowed upon me by God. Anyway, I was like, what maintenance are you doing? That pH level is clearly way off. Like, we should not be able to smell it, like, from here. Anyway, can somebody bring me my backpack? I need it for this next bit.
Please abuse it.
Wait. It's okay, actually. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay, just imagine. You guys are gonna need to use some imagination here, because I forgot to do this part. Okay. So, I'm almost done with my set. And it's Pride Month is over, right? Did everyone have a good Pride Month?
Yeah.
Yes! Okay, I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, it's my backpack. Wow, thank you. Okay. Let's talk about the LGBTQ plus community, you guys.
Sure.
And let's actually talk about the plus this time. Because nobody ever talks about the plus, you guys. And these are the real dregs of our society. This is our left-handed people. Janet, we have one right here. Somebody has yet to meet one. We have a left-handed person with us. We also have our mimes, and we have our ventriloquists. But did you guys even know that the plus in LGBTQ plus stood for left-handed people, mimes, and ventriloquists? Did you guys even know about this? It used to stand for intersex and asexual, but they got kicked off the acronym when Eric Adams took over as mayor. And now, we're left with the fucking ventriloquists. Have you guys ever met a ventriloquist before?
I'm terrified of them.
You guys ever met one? You know, yeah, this is our visual up in the room. One day, maybe one day sooner than you think, you're gonna be at a party somewhere in New York City, in the city where anything goes. And you're gonna meet somebody just sitting there on a stool with a sock puppet on their knee. And that sock puppet is gonna open its mouth and it's gonna be like, the Jews control the beach, the Jews control the weather. And that ventriloquist is just gonna turn and be like, wow, Slappy, like someone's had a little bit too much to drink tonight, haven't they? Like, we're just gonna brush over that? And girl, this sock puppet's not done. It's like, you're gonna read all about it in the protocols of the Elders of Zion. And then that ventriloquist is like, okay, Slappy, like, we're gonna put you in the Uber now. But like, no, like, don't put that sock puppet in the Uber. Like, we need to talk about this. Anyway, people accuse me of dividing the community, but you know, it's hard to hold these sock puppets accountable. Like, they never show up to those restorative justice circles on time. Anyway, you've opened an amazing audience. I'm Aviva. now can you put your hands together again for Feliz Filet?